Welcome everybody to the In My View podcast. And I've been away. Yes, I've been away. My my account decided that, listen, we're gonna log you out, and I did not remember my password. I didn't remember anything. So this is a brand new In My View channel, people. Brand new In My View channel. So please subscribe to the channel if you like the content, of course. If you want to share the content, you can share it with all your friends. Comment, of course. We want to keep the interaction going, so you can comment in the comment section and we can have a conversation in the comment section if you agree or disagree about what this video is about. Now, there is a conversation ongoing, and the In My View podcast, I have to put in my view. I have to share my view with the people. So I've created a new channel. So just for this purpose, no, I'm going to be posting more videos. As I said before, my old channel, a lot of things happened to it. Sad in the case, because I didn't have a lot of subscribers. Well, I had a few. I had 100 and had. So I'm hoping to get to 100 as fast as possible. So again, if you like the content, please share and subscribe. Now, the conversation that is going on is about two players, Nemanja Vidic and Virgil van Dijk. Now, it depends on what the conversation is about, people. If the conversation is about who is a greater player, it is a non-argument if it comes to who is a greater player. The greater player has to be Vidic. I mean, it's clear. No, there's a difference between greater and better, and that's what I want people to understand. If you're arguing greater, then you're talking about the career overall. What has this person done in their career? What have they achieved in their career? So your achievements, your longevity is one that has to take in place. How long were you at the top, and how good were you while you're at the top? That is what defines a greater career. Now, a better player, for me, and I'm going to say in my view, the better player is the player who is basically, I don't want to define the word using the word, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to say, let me say, performed at a higher level when he's at his peak. So, let's decipher both players in terms of what both players are and what both players bring to the game. Now, for me, these two players are two completely different central defenders in terms of what type of defenders they are. Vidic is the aggressor. He's the one that goes into the tackle. Van Dijk is the one that organizes the back line and is the one that everybody see now runs from a tackle. In terms of, he doesn't make a tackle unnecessarily, some people might say. Some people might say he runs from people and he waits for others to come around and tackle for him. So, we are comparing two different type of players. Of course, they are defenders, so nothing is wrong with comparing two different type of players. What I'm saying though is this. In terms of who have the greater career, who was the better player at the top for longer? Vidic. Brilliant for at least 9 seasons in his career. At least 9 seasons in his career. 2-time player of the season for Manchester United and for the Premier League itself. Van Dijk, 1 player of the season once. For me, Van Dijk is being rushed into this conversation because of the new age persons never used to watch the football, so they are the one pushing this conversation. The Gen X person them, or the Gen Z person them, they are the one pushing this Van Dijk conversation, pushing Van Dijk into the legendary defenders, the elite defenders of world football. That's where they're pushing Van Dijk. Cannot be the case. You cannot be considered as an elite defender and you only have 3 good seasons, and I'm giving him 3. Virgil van Dijk has only had 3 world-class seasons as a player. For me, wasn't good. Well, it's definitely not good this season. Wasn't impressive last season. The season before he got injured. So before he got injured, he put in 2 world-class seasons. Or possibly 3 if you're pushing it. Wasn't the greatest of defenders when he was at Celtic. Hence why he got a move to Southampton. Southampton wasn't a big team when he moved there. Persons talking about Van Dijk when he moved to Liverpool. How long has he been a top-class defender at Liverpool? And the persons that are pushing this conversation, are the persons that are the Liverpool fans. Liverpool, as a club, are blessed with legendary defenders in their history. Jamie Carragher is probably their best defender in their history. Now, when a club is pushing a defender, saying that he is a legend in their club, that don't translate to him being a legend in the Premier League, You can't be an elite defender in the Premier League and you only perform for 3 seasons. That don't make sense. So this being greater than Vidic is a non-argument. Virgil van Dijk, at this moment, is in the category of Ledley King, former Tottenham legend. That's the conversation that Van Dijk should be in right now. Not the conversation with players like Vidic, Ferdinand, and the greatest of them all to ever play in the English League, John Terry. I see persons comparing this man with these 3 legendary players, This is madness. And this conversation is being pushed and pulled by the Liverpool supporters and of course the little persons them who just look at some stats and say, oh yes, he's a great defender. Check the stats when it comes down to Vidic and Van Dijk. I have to put a gap between Vidic and Van Dijk when I'm calling their names, That's how far I think the gap is, It's not close, people. Not close. Vidic has won individual medals. Because I'm not talking about team medals now. Individual medals. Vidic is seen as one of the greatest defenders to walk in the Premier League. Playing for at least 6 seasons in the Premier League. World-class seasons. Champions League. World-class seasons in the Champions League. Van Dijk, excellent in the Champions League. Brilliant play for Liverpool on their 2 run or how many runs they made to the finals. Brilliant player in the Champions League. I can't take that from him. That's why I give him 3 world-class seasons. But in terms of being great, you cannot be performing for 3 seasons and be considered as great. 3 seasons. 3 world-class seasons and you're great. That is madness. That is madness. Give the man some more time to put in great performances season after season after season. Give us 6 great performances season after season after season. Give us 6 seasons of brilliant performance, workout performance, and then you can be in the conversation. I even see people comparing this man to Thiago Silva, And this is the thing that most Liverpool persons don't know. And I give Van Dijk a lot of credit for that. Van Dijk is probably one of the best defenders or the best person at organizing the defense. So when he had Henderson, when he had Fabinho and Gini Wijnaldum, the 3 workhorses in front of him, doing all the dirty work, doing all the tackling, and all of these things that they were doing in front of him, all he had to do was sit back, organize, and map up. No, I'm not saying that is the easiest task in the world to do, because if you give a Vidic that task to do, I don't think Vidic will do that well, because Vidic is not that type. Van Dijk is that type. To sit back, organize, and map up. That's what he's very good at. Now, when that structure in front of him is gone, then we're starting to expose what is supposed to be the defensive side of his game. The tackling, the marking. Non-existent at this moment. Because those 3 hard workers are gone. The worst thing could have happened to Van Dijk was when Thiago signed for Liverpool, Because now he has someone in front of him who's not tackling that much. Henderson legs going, Fabinho legs going, so Van Dijk is now the one who has to be in with the challenges, making more tackles, so now he's more exposed. So this season when nobody dribbled past him and person was hailing him as, oh, great defender, Van Dijk wasn't tackling anyone. If you're not tackling anyone, nobody can pass you. Don't play no good that he's got to go to a season and not being dribbled. That speaks volumes to your ability to organize a team, people. So I'm giving him his praises for organizing a team, But when it comes on to the defensive side of your game. He's been exposed when it comes on to the tackling persons right now. And he has been exposed before. Old Trafford, 2019, Marcus Rashford. Van Dijk came out to defend, got mixed up. Champions League. I think Wang Young Hee or something like that his name is at Wolves now. Exposed. And I can give you a lot of different. When he was at Southampton, Anthony Martial destroyed him, scored a goal. Whenever Van Dijk is exposed as a defender, where you need to stand up and be a defender, to tackle, to make brilliant tackles, exposed. Now, I'm not saying that defenders aren't exposed now. Messi absolutely ended Vidic career, you know. I've seen persons left Vidic on their head, on him head. I've seen persons destroy John Terry. I've seen persons destroy Rio Ferdinand. But what happened is that these players, they do this and you see that they have the ability to tackle. So when they go into a tackle, they win most of their tackles. I can't say the same for Van Dijk. And I'm using the eye test. Van Dijk is not a great Premier League defender. He should not be in the conversation with Vidic, Ferdinand, and John Terry. Should not be. Stop it. Of course, he is a legendary figure at Liverpool as a central defender. Because at the end of the day, probably the best central defender that came to Liverpool, possibly Jamie Carragher. Doesn't take much to beat Jamie Carragher as a defender. So, legendary figure at Liverpool, not a Premier League legend. Should not be in the conversation with the greatest of them all. In terms of John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, and Vidic. So I see the media house is running with this thing. And social media running with this thing. Please stop it. No. Absolute nonsense. And that is the In My View podcast for today. Share the content. If you disagree with me, comment. And we can have a conversation. Thank you for watching the In My View podcast.